and or watching to the Black Eagles podcast, a Beşiktaş talk show.
Ahmet Dursun Sergen aldı. Sergen Bülent yan yana. Sergen Bülent. Sergen. Yanında Tümer var. Tümer'e doğru aksın kaybetti. Tümer topu aldı. Sergen aldı. Gol! Gol! Gol! Sergen attı. Sergen attı. Şampiyonluk geldi. Sergen attı. Şampiyonluk geldi.
İbrahim'in pası. Roma. Şimdi Ahmet. İkinci gole gidiyor Beşiktaş. Ahmet.
Shared the...
Hello, Black Eagles. We are back for the final episode of the 2025-2026 season. We are going to basically recap the season. Of course, 2 more games were played, but we already knew that we were going to finish in 4th place. Unfortunately, the final home game of the season was a loss against Trabzonspor 1-2. And the final game of the season was a draw 2-2 away at Çaykur Rizespor, coming down from 2-0 at halftime though. Let me introduce my co-hosts. First, from New York City, Sinan Schwarting, wearing, what shirt is that, Sinan? The 2014-2015 Beyaz Forma, the white shirt from the 2014-15 season. And
That's right.
Staying quite thematically there, Kartal is also wearing a shirt from the same season. I saw the 2014-15 black jersey, which has these little accents of the eagle wings. Maybe stand up. Yeah, that's a beautiful shirt. Long sleeve as well.
Yeah,
With,
no, it's a bit small for me, Karen. I don't think I to stand up and show everyone. It was a bit of a tight squeeze getting into this, to be honest. It shows that I've put on a lot of weight in the last 12 years since this one came out.
Well, and I'm wearing the 2018-19 Çubuklu. It is a Çubuklu. I can maybe show this if my camera will not just focus on my face. What are you saying, Sinan? Sorry. Sinan?
I'm freezing. I didn't see or hear that. Also, did you share, Kartal? Do you see the main screen?
No, I don't know.
There's nothing to share really, and I thought maybe for the bandwidth, so that you guys don't shrink all the time, I'll just keep it unshared, because there's no point really, since we aren't really talking about. Oh, but of course you can't see me. That's something I didn't think about.
Yeah, that's what I.
Well,
exactly. Yeah.
I think I did share the shirt I was going to wear, and I did upload a picture on our Instagram, and I even made a short. So I went with this shirt. And the reason, of course, that we're showing off some of our favorite shirts, not necessarily our top picks, because I think, Sinan, you mentioned your top pick is the 2013-14 red jersey.
Yeah, I've archived it at my mom's house.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, so that is a fantastic...
12-13.
12-13.
That'll be with it.
Yes, you're right. That's the 12-13. And it's almost like a dark red, maybe even like a Bordeaux type. Not Bordeaux, but like wine red color. Which I guess would be Bordeaux.
Yeah.
It's a really beautiful shirt. I agree. It has a really good accent on the collar as well. I think I wore it a couple of weeks ago actually on the show. And of course, the reason that we are wearing some of our favorite Adidas shirts from the past 17 years is because we have now officially played our final game for the foreseeable future in Adidas. We are going to go over to Nike for the next season, for the next 5 seasons at least. So it's an end of an era, guys, and it's not just the end of the season, it's the end of the era for Adidas. It's also an end of an era because Necip Uysal has finished his Beşiktaş career, maybe his footballing career. We're not 100% clear on that yet, but I would imagine so. And also, Ersin Destanoğlu might be on his way out and
outgoing.
Yeah, and maybe finished his Beşiktaş career, or at least for the foreseeable future. He's still young, of course. He could always come back. But it looks like he's going abroad. It's not 100% sure yet. There's still some efforts to maybe retain him, but that would be as a second goalkeeper. So if I were Ersin, I would definitely go. out and go out in the world. But maybe we can talk a little bit about what Necip Uysal, 22 years at the club, what he has meant in our Beşiktaş fandom. And I'll start with Katla, because I think, Katla, you probably, out of the three of us, are the one that holds him in the highest regard, I would say.
It's because you two are haters, man. Necip Uysal, obviously, limited in terms of technical ability, but had always showed a lot of heart, fire, passion and desire on the field. And some of our greatest European moments he's been playing, whether that's as a midfielder or a centre-back. I think he was always better as a centre-back. Maybe had he moved into that role earlier on in his career, and if he could have worked on that more, maybe more could have came of him. But I think overall he was a very good servant for the club. But as Karen said, 22 years, it's a long time. Was never a star for us, was never really a starter, and if there was a period where he'd be starting a lot of games, you know that it was a period where Beşiktaş were bad. But I feel like there was a lot of times where we needed someone to play in a certain position in a pinch, and Necip always done that. And if you look at the Napoli game, if you look at the Liverpool game that we won, like Necip Uysal started both of them, so he's been there in big moments as well in the starting 11. So overall, he's going to be a very, very memorable player.
No doubt.
Maybe for some legend or icon is too much because of his limited talent. But in terms, I mean, you could say that his loyalty alone shows that, but at the same time, like, this guy wasn't going to get a better move than Beşiktaş. It maybe could have been more prominently featured on a lesser team, but it was never going to get a move up the way from Beşiktaş. But certainly, as far as we know as well, a good character, someone that always tried their best, a good professional. And it was a shame things went the way they did, just for it to be cut out completely. I don't think he deserved that. No. I mean, I suppose we don't know what went on behind the scenes, but just based off of Necip's track record and what I've actually heard about him from people that have worked with him, it doesn't really seem like he'd be the type of guy causing issues in the background. So it is a sad way to see a player that's played for us for so long go out.
Yeah. Even despite the fact that he was dropped from the team, I think he still should have been part of the squad for the final home game, and he should have gotten at least like 3 minutes or something. Although it would have been
a little run out.
Yeah, exactly. Sinan, for you, I think we are more on the same page when it comes to Necip, perhaps. But what does Necip Uysal's time at Beşiktaş mean for you? And I do want to clarify. I think it's 17 years in the senior team. Plus 5 years in the youth team. He joined.
22. He came up.
Yeah, so 22 years total for the club. But what do you think he represents? Where do you think he stands in history?
Well, first of all, apologies to everyone. I look very vain, like futzing with my hair this whole time. I just got out of the shower. Like I had a football match this morning actually, so I'm coming in late, collecting myself as we move things along. I was gonna say that as much shit as I've talked about Necip over the years, and as much as I could sort of go in on certain lackings on his part, I think it's a testament to him and his place within the club and his loyalty and everything Cartel said as far as him being a guy you could rely on in a pinch whenever, and a guy who you knew would proudly represent Beşiktaş, even no matter the competition, right? In fact, the bigger the game, in a sense, you almost felt better about playing a guy like Necip sometimes. In a derby, he was a guy who you knew would always understand the gravity of a match like that, whereas, these foreign guys who come in and out every year, almost every year they're experiencing it for the first time, and then half of them are gone the next. So for a guy who's been here since he was a child, like, forget his time as a pro, right? He's grown up through the academy. He's truly a product of this club, for better or worse. I think it's a testament to his, obviously not status as a legend or anything like that, but as a cult hero of sorts, that as much shit as I'd normally have to say about him, as we part ways at this point, I wouldn't want to sully it by talking shit, right? Like he's earned like a respectful farewell.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree, and I think I can echo what both of you have said to an extent, at least. I think this isn't the platform or time to nitpick at his time at the club. Very loyal servant, of course. 16, 17 seasons in the senior team. And just never any problems with him. And I think it was time to end the Necip era. So I think in that regard, the club have made the right decision. But the way they've gone about it, like Kartel said, has been very poor. And we've seen some criticism of that as well. I think Ozan Özyakup, who's very much in the podcasting space nowadays, he's been critical of that. And of course, they were teammates for the longest time. They have a great relationship. But it is such a terrible way to send a player that's been so loyal packing.
By the way.
Yeah, Ozan, exactly.
Speak of the devil.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I think, to be honest, we do this too much to our beloved players or figures. We kind of, I don't know, like chase them out of the club. And I feel like Necip deserved more than that. I think he should have been courteously told at the end of the season, Necip, despite the fact that you still have a year's contract, we would like not to continue because we don't think you can still put on the performance necessary to wear that jersey. And that's what it should have been. And if he said, look, no, I don't want to, I want to see out my contract, there's still, you could have then fought that out perhaps after the season. Or if you just put him in the situation where it's the final game, home game of the season, you're like, okay, this is going to be your last match. We're going to give you we're going to give you your flowers, and all that, and you can decide to see out your contract with the club, but we won't play you anymore starting next season. I think that would have been a much better way to handle the situation, just to freeze him out the way they did, which they essentially also did with like guys like Mert, but there I can understand it, but with Necip it's something, he just deserved more respect than that. So, likewise to Sinan, let's salute Necip Uysal and wish him all the best. Maybe who knows, he might become a legendary Beşiktaş trainer or coach in the future. You never know, right? Like, he could lead Beşiktaş to the promised land as a coach. You don't know. I mean, very often.
Yeah, that's true. You really do never know. Look, like a guy like Pep Guardiola, right? He wasn't like the star of the show necessarily, and then here you are. I mean, he was always a very good footballer, not to
and you see that a lot in football, that players who were maybe not the greatest footballers turn out to be great coaches. And maybe that's an advantage because, I mean, look at Sergen, he was a fantastic player, but that brings with it also a certain baggage of ego. That perhaps a player like Necip wouldn't have. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him again in the future, and hopefully we will, if he turns out to be a really good coach. Let's talk about Ersin a little bit, guys, because this was also probably his last game against Çaykur Rizespor. How do you guys feel about his looming departure? Do you think that Beşiktaş should make a concerted effort at keeping him at the club, or should we allow him to spread his wings and fly? Sinan, let me start with you.
Yeah, I think you gotta let him go. Insofar as, look, there's a few reasons. One, he's not quite as good as you want our starting goalkeeper to be, which is like a sad fact. And it's no knock against him, because he's like literally just one peg beneath that. And through the season, I would even go so far as to say he's improved his footwork a little bit. He's far closer to that type of keeper now than he was even when he started playing again after, being kind of expelled to the void for a while there. So it's a credit to him that he's gotten better this season, and that he's actually put together quite a good season. But even with that said, I think most would agree he's not quite as good as we need him to be. And frankly, I think he deserves it. I think he deserves a chance at a big club, or not necessarily a big club, but somewhere else. He deserves a chance to start, to feel comfortable in his starting role, to maybe. I mean, let's see what his cap is. Maybe he goes somewhere, plays a ton, and they have a really good set of goalkeeping coaches or whatever it is, and he flourishes. And there's more to come. Who really knows? I think with goalkeeper. They play till they're 40, so there's a lot of room for questions, I would say. And I think he deserves to leave, and we deserve a better keeper. Like, everyone benefits from it, and I think there should be no hard feelings. I've seen some people who are overly critical of him in general, and I always I don't feel like I support him enough that I need to argue with people and get his back, cape for him. But I do always feel a little bit kind of like, man, people, how could you be hard on a guy who's won us a championship as our starting goalkeeper at a very young age, who's never done anything but played well? I think the season he lost his starting role, I remember he got scored these fluke goals against us when Valérien Ismail was there. Just crazy things that were barely his fault. Like, he had maybe 2 blunders, I think. And Chenol banished him after Valérien left, and in favor of Mert Gunok, and that was the end of the story, it seemed. So, I don't necessarily understand the criticism. I think it's overblown, but I will say that I do agree. We can do better. He can do better. Everyone should everyone should be proud of him, though, and everyone should see him as a product of our club and wish him the best.
And it's definitely not altai when we say we can do better. Kartal, what do you think about the situation for Ersin? Do you share Sinan's sentiments, or would you rather him stay?
I mean, if we can convince him to stay as the number 2, I think that's a good thing, because if we're going to have to sign a substitute goalkeeper, obviously depending on Göktuğ and Emir Ashaz, what they're like in the beginning as well, I suppose if you can't trust any of them to be your number 2, I think it'd be worthwhile trying to convince him to stay as a number 2. But I don't think he's going to accept that at this point. I think he wants to try his luck in Spain, which is what I'm hearing now. So if he does, wish him the best of luck. He'll always be a child of Beşiktaş. He'll be welcome back at any time. But ideally, I would keep him as a number 2, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to go to, they're saying Spain, but he's going to try his luck overseas, and I wish him the best of luck.
And that would be kind of ironic, wouldn't it, if he ends up in Spain? Because Spain is the country that you think of when you think of footballing goalkeepers, and goalkeepers that can play it out from the back end. If anything, that was probably Ersin's biggest flaw, his ability with his feet. By no means a disaster, but certainly not what you would expect it to be for, I think, a modern sweeper keeper. It's definitely something that they like out there in Spain. So, but I agree more, I think, with Sinan's side. I understand where you're coming from, Kata. Like, of course, him leaving puts us in a position where we not only need to find a first goalkeeper now in the summer, but also probably a reserve goalkeeper. And I understand that you're like, okay, that's one extra transfer we need to make, so I'd rather him stay. But personally, I've always really liked Ersin, and I thought that he probably should have left 2 years ago when he had the opportunity. Club Brugge were interested at the time. And I think he missed an opportunity there. He is still young enough at just 25 to go out and make a really good career for himself. And I do think that at that age, which is still a young age for a goalkeeper, he can still develop, become a lot better in a more stable, less toxic environment, maybe better coaching staff surrounding him, a country where they are known for working with goalkeepers, working well with goalkeepers. I think that could be a good move for him. I would not be surprised if he returns in a couple of years, and if he is a better player at that point, I would certainly not mind it. But I personally am kind of against him staying. And that's not because I don't think he could be useful, and because I don't want to save us the headache of having to find another goalkeeper. But I think he needs to go out for himself. I do think he has the potential of being a better goalkeeper than he is today, but he's not going to reach that potential at Beşiktaş, being the second goalkeeper. So he needs to go out, spread his wings, and hopefully develop further. And I wish him all the best. And if it's Spain, great for him. If it's Germany, or it's Belgium, the Netherlands, whatever, wherever he goes, I wish him the best. And hopefully our roads, our paths will cross again in the future. He could always come back in his 30s, become the reserve goalkeeper then. But I think at 25, he shouldn't settle for that. He should want to be the number one. And yeah, I'll miss his swearing at the back. It's always funny when you hear him swearing at the defenders. It's hilarious. But yeah.
Yeah, he's histrionic.
Yeah.
He's fun.
And to cap off the whole end of an era conversation, guys, I do want to go back a little bit more on the shirt. So, Sina, you already mentioned your favorite shirt is that 2012-2013 red jersey. And you're, of course, wearing the 14-15 white one. But do you have any other ones that you're really, really fond of over the last 10 years that come to mind?
My third place was going to be last season's black jersey.
Oh, yeah.
Actually. Which is that what you're wearing? I can't.
No,
I'm trying to see on my phone.
I'm wearing the 2018-19 black and gray striped jersey, Shinji Kagawa. Think of Kagawa.
Yeah. That's a fun one.
These white stripes down the side. I really, really like that one. It's a V collar. Yeah, it's a shirt I'm really fond of. So that's your top three then, the black one from last season.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like the one Cartel's wearing is also a favorite.
Yeah. What about your top?
Yeah,
five?
yours is also.
What about
like
your top five? Let's round it off with a top five. And I'll make some shorts out of this, and then maybe put the shirts up there so people can see.
So I'm not sure about the order yet. Maybe I can work this out on the fly. But so basically, I like the maroon with black highlights. The maroon, you know what I mean? The red, but like not maroon. Maroon is going a little too far. Let me see. I think I have it.
Yeah. The 2020-2021 season.
Yeah, with think of Masuaku. I always think of Masuaku with that one.
Oh, okay. That's a different one then. Okay, he's going to get it. I'm curious now. Can you think of which one it is? Oh, it's
20,
yeah.
24.
Okay. Yeah. The
23.
Yeah. Okay.
I quite like this. I like the black highlight on the back.
Yeah, I like that one.
I like
too,
the color.
But for me, the sponsor kind of ruins it, and that's a shame because those were good shirts. But I kind of feel like I'm not a big fan of the rain.
One thing I liked about this one in particular, though, they didn't do the little pink. They just did a solid white rain at least. So I thought that was a benefit as far as that sponsorship goes.
So that's.
So that's probably 5.
Okay, and then you need one more.
Hold on,
top 5.
I'm rummaging through my closet. You can hear me there. Okay.
I'm a really bad homework giver, by the way. I told these guys to put on one of their favorites of the last years, and now
and now you're up in the ante over here.
I'm making him make a top 5 list, but you could have also just done it off of memory. But it's I'm a visual kind of person. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. And I luckily have my archive. Not the great one from my mom's house, but okay.
You need to move that over. Why is it it's your mom's house?
Well, some of them are. It's complicated. All right.
Is it like a Facebook relationship status?
Yeah, exactly. So first of all, this was a favorite.
Okay.
11, 12.
Yeah, that's 20.
Very clean.
2011,
very
2012. Yeah. That's a good one.
That's a favorite. As I mentioned, this is a favorite.
Is that in your top? So that one's also in your top 5. That.
I've extended it beyond 5 just to spite to spite you, frankly.
Yeah. Okay.
I love this one.
That's the green one.
I really
from
love
last
this one.
season, right?
No,
Oh,
this is
no.
great.
Oh, so it's,
Oh, it's the
21,
grey.
22.
Yeah, okay, that's
21, 22.
Yeah, Batshuayi. Yeah, okay, Rosier you got on the back, right?
Batshuayi,
that is
yeah.
a good one, and I feel like we barely wore that one.
This is gonna be a low key, like nobody's gonna see this one coming, but this
Yeah.
is like a wild card option. It's like honorable mention for me.
I like.
I
that
love
one
the
too.
risk we took
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, I liked it as well, and I again just a rain sponsor for me. It's like if those shirts
I
would
know.
have had the bagel sponsor, they would.
And that's the
yeah.
pink rain also.
Uh,
That's
Yeah.
that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, this was like part of my top 3 probably.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. I really love that one as well. That's definitely in my top 5. That shirt.
Clean. I love the neck. The neck was great on this. Like the gray with the black. Like that was a great.
It's a
highlight.
great shirt.
And then of
I
course,
feel to wear out casually as well. Yeah.
and then of course the special, which by the way, I'm dying to find one with like the sponsor and get a name on the back, the whole deal. I don't know how I would ever orchestrate that at this point, but so there you go. That's my visual presentation for my some of my favorite Adidas kits.
All right. So top 5.
And like there's a couple older ones missing, but that's about it.
Top 5, Sinan, come on.
Top 5. You want to really narrow this thing down,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
All right. So this is my favorite all white kit.
Okay. Yeah.
This is my favorite kind of whatever you call that.
Yeah.
My favorite red kit is the one that's at my mom's house.
Yeah, the 2012-13 red.
Yeah.
Toyota on it. Manuel Fernandes probably is the player that comes to mind, or Ozan Ozjakub's debut season. So that's 3, and then
Favorite gray kit is this.
okay.
Yeah.
Favorite gray kit is this. And so then what it really comes down to for me. Oh, and my favorite black kit, I already did this, right? So
Yeah.
that's 4, right? White, gray, black, red. Oh, and then I did this. I guess that's 5.
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
that's
So
5.
my wild card is between. So my 6th, my honorable mention is between these 2. I don't know where I would go with that. That's.
All right. Those don't make.
I feel like that's a good way to do it, right? Do like a favorite white, a favorite black, a favorite red,
is
a favorite
yeah,
gray,
it is
and then a favorite like.
It is a good
whatever.
one. It is a good one for sure. But I'm not gonna discriminate based on colors. I think.
Oh, you had to phrase it like that.
Wait. So, Kartal, what about you, man? Your top 5, but you can go in depth a little bit more, like Sinan, if you'd like. If there's a couple you definitely want to give, like an honorable mention or something.
It's hard, man, because there's been so many great jerseys over the years. I think the 10-11 white one in Quaresma, first game.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
especially there's
With the
see that shirt in
Paul
long
Ruka.
sleeves.
Yes.
There's that shirt in long sleeves as well. It's like a photo the photo of when we won the Turkish Cup, and it's like Quaresma, Simao, Almeida, Fernandes, and Almeida's got it with long sleeves on, man. I think it looks brilliant.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one of my top 5. Another one would be the 16-17 white jersey, the pinstripes. We won the league with, and we got to the quarterfinals of the Europa League with as well. This one,
Yeah. Was it?
that's one I'm doing.
I'm thinking, is that 16-17?
Yeah, white with pinstripes.
Oh yeah, you're
That
right.
sounds
Yeah.
hot.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's 16-17.
So
Yeah,
I
I can probably.
What year is it, Cartel?
The 16-17 white one with Talisca, Abu Bakar. We got to the Europa League quarterfinal when we lost to Lyon.
Yeah. I have all these hanging in my closet as well, so I could grab it, but I don't have a wireless. I do have a wireless headset, but that's my fitness headset. I don't have that on, so it's gonna be annoying.
Oh, with the little red highlights.
With the red on the cuffing of the sleeve, you have like the little red. Yeah.
So I've said this one.
Mm-hmm. And the white one from
16-17 white.
Yeah.
The white one from 10-11. So
Yeah.
I've got 2 more.
Yeah.
This is where it gets hard.
Yeah. That's what
Let's
she
say,
said.
yeah. The 17-18 white. And
Yes, also a great one.
that's the one. That's where we won the Champions. We won the Champions League where we we were enamored in the Champions
Maybe
League groups.
when
and
you
won good.
played FIFA, we won the Champions League, but in reality,
When we won the group stage, when we won our group. We won our group.
That's
Then-
great.
Also, the 16-17 black one's probably my favourite. The one with the black one with the white sleeves.
basically the throwback jersey to the Bacikle, but without the without the.
Yeah, so I think that's a very good list. So 10-11 white.
Yeah, that's a great.
10-11 white, 14-15 black,
Yeah.
16-17 white, 17-18 white, and the black one 16-17
Yeah.
with the white sleeves.
Yeah, that is a great list, and
That's a great. The black with the white sleeves is a classic.
for me, it's I really like that 2010-11 jersey, like the white. I like all of those jerseys, like even the gray.
They're brilliant.
Yeah.
And the,
Yeah. The gray one's amazing too. The black one's fantastic, but I think the white one's the best. Also because I have one Quaresma Europa League match jersey, and it's such a great jersey. The striped one, like you said, the Chubuklu is fantastic too. But for me, yeah, definitely, I put that one on my list. I probably put it around the third spot. I think. For me, I think. You know, I said last season when that black one came out, Sinan, the one you had, that's like one of my all-timers, and I might even put it at 1, but it might be recency bias. It's been over a year now. It's been 2 years, really. Yeah, that one. And I still really, really love that jersey. And I think for me,
It's a banger.
I think that's my favorite. I think from this 17-year period,
Wow.
I think that's my number one. I also really like the 17-18 white jersey with just the black collar that the Cartel said. I also really like the pinstripe from the year before, so I'm kind of on the fence on those two. I really like this one. I think this is a fantastic one. For me, I think this is number 4. So I've got number 1, I've got number 3, and number 4. Number 5 is probably the gray jersey from the 17-18 season. I really like that one. You know, also from the Champions League run, I think that's a fantastic jersey.
We won all 3 of our games wearing that shirt in that group stage phase because we wore that.
Oh yeah,
games.
that's a great jersey, Con. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's my favorite gray jersey of all time for sure. So I'm gonna put that one at 5, and then I just need a number 2, and I'm trying to think. This is going to be a little controversial, I think, but the 2021-2022 white jersey with the black and red running down the center, I really like that one. I think, Katla, you weren't super fond of it, but I really, really like that jersey.
It's a decent shirt, man. Not one of my favourites, but it's decent.
I don't know if I'd put it at 2,
2021.
but I'm going to put that in my top 5. It's like, obviously, this is on the spot, and maybe I change it up a little bit, but yeah, I put that one in there. So that would be my top 5, I think. And
2021 white with red and black running down the middle.
yeah, running down the middle.
Oh, yeah. Hold on, I think I have that one.
Yeah, of course you have that one. Yeah, definitely.
I definitely have it, but I don't know if it's that might be in my archive.
Yeah.
I think it is.
It's.
Because it's Ghazal. I needed to make sure I didn't damage poor Rashid's jersey. Yeah.
In the meantime, while Sinan is rummaging through his jerseys,
I'm done.
Go ahead and drop your top 5. That's 10, by the way. Top 5 Adidas jerseys of the last 17 years. Don't include shirts from the previous period under Adidas. Just the past 17 years. Top 5 from that. Because look, if we'd have to do all time at best Adidas jerseys, the list is gonna change. But for the last 17 years, I think that's it for me. And I think we're all kind of on the same page. I think we're all kind of sad to see us leaving Adidas because I think we're all very fond of it. We did get to see the white jersey we would have gotten. It would have been a trefoil logo Adidas shirt. But I think they're gonna do trefoil logos on everything starting this season. I heard something about that. That was a good looking shirt. It wasn't
Not on all the shirts, can like I think the majority of teams most of the shirts will still have the normal logo on
Yeah.
it. Maybe one shirt from each club, or one shirt from the kind of more like upper tier clubs
Yeah,
will be
maybe.
the rest of them will still have the main logo.
Okay, I thought there was some debate that Adidas might switch back permanently to the trefoil logo for
Yeah,
everything.
I mean, for example, Celtic's home shirts came out and it's the regular logo on it.
Okay. It's not that I dislike the regular logo, by the way. I think it's pretty neat.
The trefoil one's cool.
Trefoil,
The trefoil one's cooler, but if you put it on every shirt, it takes away the special
it does,
feeling
yeah,
of it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look,
Definitely.
they did release the one that we were going to get this season. Maybe we'll get to see the other shirts as well. But I think it was a decent white shirt. It's not one where I would say...
nice.
It wasn't one where I would say, okay, I'm super upset now that we're going to Nike because this was a banger. It was a good shirt. I don't know if it would have made my top 10, but it was definitely a good shirt. It probably would have because it would have been the only one with a trefoil logo. But yeah, no, it was a good shirt. But I am very curious to see what Nike's got in store for us.
Me too.
And I think we'll find out in the next couple of weeks.
Personally, I would have loved to have been able to buy that shirt. Just to have the Adidas original trefoil logo on it.
Maybe
Just
they'll dump.
It's really
If they made a lot of them, Katan, maybe they'll end up on the black market.
Turkish pazars, man, like the real ones.
Who knows?
Like that does it. I mean, stuff like that happens, like because obviously there is a lot of textile factories in Turkey. The extras from like not like designer brands, but high street brands in other countries get made in Turkey, and the extras can be dumped into the markets. So for really cheap. So who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? We might find an actual one produced by Adidas in the markets somewhere. But yeah, I would love to buy that one. It's just really what a Beşiktaş home shirt should be. Predominantly white, black accents. Let's get the throwback collar, the trefoil logo. Man, I'm quite gutted it's not coming out, but I mean, hopefully Nike bring out some nice shirts and we won't be too bothered by it.
Yeah.
And I've got a feeling, from what we're hearing, they'll just go. The first shirts are going to be pretty basic, and I think
That's fine though.
if you stay basic with a Beşiktaş shirt, you're not going to go wrong.
No, exactly.
Yeah, that's like the benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a benefit.
Less is more, right? And that's also, you know, I don't know if you guys remember. I think over the years I've talked about my desire to go over to Nike a few times because I really like Nike's less is more approach. They don't always do that, but they very often do it. And I think their shirts are just, you know, clean. And sometimes I feel like Adidas with our shirts, sometimes there's just too much stuff going on. They're trying fancy things. Like, for example, this season's jersey kind of really, the white one of this season actually really grew on me. But, like, you know, it was kind of out there a little bit. You know, black stripes on one side, red on the other. It was a little controversial at the start, right?
Yeah, I mean, I said it would have been a great shot if they just kept it all black, and I stand by that. Although I do think it's fine, but it would have been better if they just kept it simple rather than trying to jazz it up a wee bit.
I think it's fine for like your third jersey to like really try something different, but I do feel like, especially for a club like Beşiktaş, it's the same with, you know, like AC Milan, Real Madrid, Barcelona. Like their home kit and their away kit are kind of traditions, and then you can get a little bit more creative with the third kit. Like, for example, Barcelona had like a yellow and red shirt for a while and stuff like that. So, you know, that's why I've always been very keen on Nike maybe taking the license for a couple of years and having a run at it. So I am happy that we are finally going over to Nike, because it's the first time that we will be having Nike as our kit manufacturer. I'm just sad that the timing of the timing
couldn't have been worse.
Yeah.
Just as Adidas take you from the big club category, which we were in, which is our second top category, to the elite category, which means like getting the trefoil jerseys, and we're probably going to get the upper tier shirt technology as well. For this to happen just as we were running at the cusp of that is disappointing, but at the same time it's going to be exciting to see a different take on Beşiktaş jerseys from a different company.
Yeah. And we're supposed to find out probably next month or the month after. Sinan, any closing thoughts on the Adidas era ending?
I mean, all in all, I'd say it was an epic run with way more bangers than misses. I'd say that we kind of went out with a whimper these last couple seasons. Not like nothing terrible, nothing that would have been like, oh, we got to get rid of Adidas.
I thought last season was good. I liked the jerseys from.
Last season was like pretty good.
We both put one of last season's in our top 5. So I mean, look.
Yeah, well, the black one. Yeah, that's true. That's true. The black one was epic. But the other ones were just kind of meh. I mean,
I like the white one.
I mean, I don't know. I like the white one with the map. Yeah, it's nice, but I mean, just nothing like you know.
I think this season.
I guess it's true. We did have one in the top 5. So that's worth something for sure. But just all in all, they haven't done well enough of late for me to really mourn this change to the extent that I would have thought I'd be mourning it. Maybe even at the end of last season, frankly, because like we had a really nice black jersey. I had a lot of But after this year's, I'm just kind of I feel like it's okay for us to see a new outlook on things. Yeah. I'm excited to see what Nike cooks up. I mean, I agree the trefoil would have been really nice to see, but we'll get over it. I think we do have the what do you call it? The tracksuit with the trefoil, don't we?
Yeah,
That's available already.
Yeah, these originals. Yeah. I think last season's was really good. I think this season they shrunk the badge down and they put like a little wide border around it, and I wasn't super keen on it. And I have like, I think 3 of last season's. I lost some weight and now they're kind of too big for me. But so I was kind of thinking of getting the new one because I have XLs and I I'm kind of a large is a lot better for me now. So I was thinking, okay, maybe I'll get this season's one, but then it's sold out. So it's like, okay, I don't get to spend 150 euros. Boo fucking who, right? Like, it's right. Yeah. I mean, I really like the Adidas tracksuits for sure. I'm a big Adidas fan. Like every day I wear Adidas shoes. I have a pair, I have a pair of Nike Jordans, but I'm not a big fan of them. Like they're a little bit too narrow. The Adidas ones are a little bit wider at the top of the foot, and I just really like the Superstars, and I really like their track pants as well. Wear it to the gym all the time, so it's I really like Adidas stuff, but I'm not
a lot of Nike shoes.
Yeah,
Adidas are a lot cheaper as well. Adidas are a fair amount cheaper. Like, don't be surprised, guys, when these shirts are announced if these aren't going to be £90, €90, $90.
They're going to be 6,000 lira, I believe. The price.
Yeah, which is just about £100. But they might be a bit cheaper for us. The reason why I suspect that is because for the Turkish national team jerseys, they were £90 on the Nike UK website, whereas in Turkey they're actually, I think they're about 6,400 lira. So it was like £114 or something.
Yeah.
So the Turkish national team jerseys are quite a bit cheaper in the UK than they are in Turkey, which is crazy.
But are those
despite
the player versions or the fan versions in the?
That's the fan version for both.
Yeah.
They both
I think that's also why they're only going to be 6,000 lira, because we're only going to have the fan version of the shirt available the first season, I think.
Yeah, maybe the players might not even get the kind of premium one the first year. Maybe they
wasn't 100% clear. Murat Özen said that we definitely
from the second year there will be the player version.
Yeah, the players were definitely gonna get the player, the best version of the player jersey starting the second season. They might already get it this season, but the fans will only be able to buy the fan shirt, which I think is not a bad thing because the fan shirt really is better quality because, as we found out, the player versions have everything heat pressed on them, and it's basically like a little foil thingy. I have one of the training jerseys, the sleeveless training jerseys from Adidas from this season. I really like it. It's a great fit, but it also just has the Adidas logo heat pressed on it. It has the Beşiktaş logo heat pressed on it, and it's just like, okay, I fold it inside out every time I wash it, but like that's gonna peel eventually. And I kind of
it's gonna
so I mean I kind of feel like if you're gonna end up buying a player version of the Beşiktaş jerseys in the coming years, maybe you hold out for a match worn shirt one or something and just get one there, and just put it like frame it or something and hang it up against the wall, but don't wear it. If you're gonna buy a jersey to wear day to day, just get the fan shirts because it's gonna last you longer. I don't see what's the point in getting the player jersey unless you're gonna be playing, right? Doesn't make much sense to me.
Well, these days maybe I need it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe you might need it. Yeah. With your second.
Yeah, no, I'm excited.
Your second youth there.
That's right. That's right. When do we have a release date yet? Do we know when these jerseys are dropping?
No,
You just said the end of June or the start of July.
Yeah,
That's what we've got.
So we've got
Start of July.
end of
Alright.
June, start of July.
2
so
months.
Maybe no. What 2 months? What it's May, right? So end of June would be like a month and a half maybe. So yeah, let's call it month and a half. We'll probably find out. So
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, a little bit more patience.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Well, that's all the end of an era stuff. That's for sure. There's an end of an era sort of kind of thing potentially happening. Sergen's future at the club. Now, obviously, the season kind of ended in a whimper. Kind of fizzled out, like the title of the episode says. Where and I think
we go in the cup. We lose. We go out the cup when we lose to Trabzon at home.
Yeah.
Finish the league season 0-6 in the big games.
Yeah.
And then we draw to Rizespor as well in a game where we went 2-0 down. Clawed back, but really when you look at the stats, a game we deserve to lose.
Yeah, the second half I thought we played decently, except for right at the end. It was actually Rizespor pushing for the win instead of us. And maybe also kind of tells the story of the season that the match turned around when Sergen subbed on Jota and maybe Czerny and some other players. Jota is a great example of. He played less than 700 minutes this season, and you kind of think if let's give him 1,000 more minutes than that, maybe he could have had a significant enough impact to at least make a little bit.
It's
of
hard
a
not to
difference.
ask that.
Right?
Yeah, it's hard not to ask that at this
and,
point.
And also in the first half of the season, you could definitely ask the question: what if Thailand would have played more instead of Gökhan? Maybe Thailand does not make those silly mistakes in those derbies. Trabzonspor, Gökhan cost us. Against Fenerbahçe, Gökhan cost us. So it's like, lots of these decisions. And all in all, I think we're coming off of a really bad 5 years. I think I'd argue this is probably the worst out of the bunch, and maybe that's also recency bias. But really, if you think about it, with Arad, at least we won the cup. Last season, I feel like the second half of the season, last season wasn't fun either, but there were highlights in that season. You had the
Yeah, I mean, we had that last season. We had a very, very promising start. Suddenly we're thinking about Champions League, Galatasaray 5-0, played some good football in some games.
Yeah.
Then yes, it went to shit, but we still beat Lyon.
Yeah.
We beat Bilbao. We beat Fenerbahçe twice.
Yeah.
We beat Galatasaray at home. We beat Trabzon at home.
Yeah.
There was a lot of positives in that season, despite it overall was bad. This year, the only thing I could point to is in the last 3 seasons, it has been our best kind of league performance in terms of the points tally. Obviously, we played less games this season, so I think we got a couple of less points than last season. But our win percentage was 50% for the season in the league, which is the best it's been since 22-23. Where obviously Shell Gunesh had a very impressive second. But I do want to clarify that the only reason it's 50% is because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer won the first game.
I was gonna say,
if you take that out and just look at Sergen's game, where we're actually just under 50%, wouldn't we?
Yeah, so it's a weird one, right? Because I feel like last season we had a lot more highlights.
No, of course.
well, also guys,
There's no proper highlights apart from some Anadolu games this season.
Yeah, there is. Yeah,
but also guys, remember Ole came in and we were in like 9th place.
7th.
So we did steadily kind of improve.
Yeah, no.
No, 9th. Remember,
See if you look at our last 3 permanent managers, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, Sergen Yalchin, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Sergen Yalchin's got the worst points per game in the league out of all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That shouldn't even surprise it.
And I mean, if you look at Gio had a situation where there was infighting in the board. They were getting involved in his tactics. The players didn't get paid for 2 months. It was going really well before that, and then it crashed and burned. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer actually had the best points per game. It seemed like from a board level, it seemed a bit more stable than what Gio had to put up with. But again, his team was weaker. He lost Al Musrati, he lost Sheriff and Doer. The players that were brought in were of a lesser quality, you could argue. And then obviously in the summer, the guy that was crying out for a left winger since day one didn't get any wingers, and then after he got put out of Europe and was forced to go into play with a win-back system, which is not something he's really done in his career. We bow out and he gets sacked, and Sergen Yalchin comes in, and all of a sudden we get Wales a few days later, which kind of adds to the fuel of the conspiracy theory. So Sergen's not only had the best environment, he's had the best squad, but he's performed the worst in the league out of all those coaches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's not. I don't think anyone would debate that he's had the most support from the backroom staff as well.
He's had the most support. He's had the most money spent. I mean, Orkun Kökçü, could you really say that 30 million he spent for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when he got to use him for all 5-6 games?
Yeah.
One league match, yeah.
Sergen by far had the most money spent as well. When the fuck has Beşiktaş ever spent 40 million in January? It happened for Sergen. It didn't happen for anyone else.
When the fuck have we ever spent 40 million period? And this season we spend it in both windows basically. But I mean, obviously, look, again, the apologists will say, okay, but Sergen didn't get to make the transfers in the summer, and that's true for the most part. You know, I mean, like even the players that arrived after Ole was sacked weren't Sergen's transfers. Other than Cengiz and Gökhan Sazda, I don't think he had much say in any of those summer transfers. So there is that. But still...
Yeah, I mean, there's even the rumours that he put in his resignation after Jota was signed. And that's maybe why he's treated him like shit all year.
Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, I think it was him to stay on.
But regardless, though, I mean, if we look back at the last 5 years, which have been really grim for us, I don't feel like... I don't remember exactly when it was. There was a point where I was like, I saw no way out of the misery. And I kind of...
see no way out just now.
That must have been 2022, 2023 or something. I don't feel like that right now, though. Because despite the fact that this was a really bad season, I still feel like there's a really good spine there. With a couple of good moves, you can turn this into a really good team.
So, you know, Karen, I think it couldn't have been 22-23 because 22-23 at the end of the season, we're saying with some of the right transfers, we can really push on for a title.
We always say that, don't we? And I'm saying it again now, but I really do. I think so. Right.
No, but then we did feel like that because we had a great run of results in the second half of that season. We thought with some good winners and
you're
potentially
right.
number 10, we could really change things. But then we had the worst window in our history that completely fucked up the team for the years that are coming after that. I mean, we're still dealing with Rashica.
Maybe it was like a January period or something. I don't remember, but I remember very vividly feeling like, oh, where do we go from here? Whereas now I feel like, okay, this was a bad season, but there's a lot of good there. You know, I think Amir Murillo, Agbadu, obviously Orkun in the middle, Orkun, Olaitan. I think those are really good players that you can build around. Olaitan, whether it's as a starter or not. Like, for example, if you look at the rumors today, we're being linked again with Anguissa. We're being linked with Granit Xhaka. I do think, and look, these are two older players. Well, Anguissa is not that old. He's 30. I think he just turned 30 years old. But Xhaka is going to turn 34 in September, so he's definitely older. Having said that, though, I do think if you put Xhaka, Anguissa, and Orkun in the midfield, that's probably the strongest midfield in the league.
Yeah, but see, again, the only thing I'm worried about, well, we're talking about Patrick Schick here as well. I'm worried about the team becoming older again.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, and I'm not against signing one or two older players, but if you're going to end up signing 4 or 5, that changes things, right? Like,
it makes the team older again. The team that we were praising the fact that we've done a really good job to get the average age of the team down. It'll be instantly reversed if you do that. I mean, I think if you sign if you sign one of Anguissa or Xhaka, I'm cool with that. But I don't think you should sign both.
I would actually not be opposed to signing both of them because I think they both are very different players, very different roles, and they accommodate each other. And I think Xhaka, Anguissa, and Orkun is a perfectly complementary midfield tree. And if you then add Junior Olaitan to the rotation there, you have a really good player to switch in and out. He can, come in for Anguissa, he can come in for Orkun, he can come in for Xhaka. He can basically fill either role if any of those players miss a game or something. So I think that would be a really strong midfield.
I mean,
Couldn't-
it sounds great, man, but I just think we need to be cautious about not getting the team too old again, personally.
No,
I'd say.
I agree.
But Cartel, but shouldn't we be? We got to at least be aware, though, that before you make that statement, like it presumes that we're getting rid of Ndidi, who's one of the other older guys.
He has to go for me. Like,
Of course,
yeah.
no, but so who else? But that's my point. So,
You end up talking about Patrick as well, Sinan. He's 31 years old.
I didn't.
Then
I think
I as well. And then if you sign Grimaldo, he's 31 years old as well.
Yeah.
I'd
All the
rather
players that we
invest
talked
in our midfield. I mean, first of all, I can't even believe we're talking about investing so much in our central midfielder before. I'm not comfortable even talking about this until
We sign wingers.
we have an elite left winger.
Yeah. And
like,
right winger.
ASAP.
And right winger too.
Yeah.
We need both. Come on. Let's not pull the wool over
I mean, I agree
our
with that,
eyes
but
with that one
So
goal.
so far, guys, how
No, but look, even if you're pro Czerny, he's now the only right winger we have because Cengiz is out.
Yeah.
Rashid said nobody in their right mind is advocating for him to play more. So
No, and, you know. And
yeah, we need no matter what your understanding of Czerny is, we need a right wing, but God damn it, we need a left wing
Yes.
because this is now season
Yeah.
like fucking 8 or something.
Imagine-
like, please bring me a left winger.
Imagine we signed Patrick Schick, Grimaldo, Xhaka, Anguissa.
And we're like,
and
where's the
no
winger?
wingers?
Where's the winger?
No wingers.
Where's the winger? That would be terrifying. Like
Another
each transfer would get heavier and heavier. Where's the
Kanatsys
winger?
Kartal version 3.0. It's
Probably
no.
version. I think that should be version 4 at this point.
4.0 maybe. Yeah. It's ridiculous, but I do think that would be an incredibly strong midfield though. If Anguissa, Xhaka, Orkun, I think that gives you the midfield. I think in every game in the league, pretty much, and it gives you the midfield probably in every game in the Conference League, and it gives you the midfield in 80% of the games in the Europa League as well, I think, because that's a really, really strong midfield. You have, an elite controller with Saka, you have an elite playmaker with Orkun, and you have an elite ball carrier with Anguissa. I think that's a really, really strong midfield. Now,
All right, I have a question for both of you guys.
Yeah.
And I'll give my answer to it with the question. So the question I have is, what is the correct amount of veteran players to have in your team? I would argue that it's probably 4 or 5. And 5, it could only be 5 if you're talking about really healthy, stalwart, like, you're not tossing 2 to the wind, but ideally it would be 4, I think. What do you think? I'll ask you first, Cartel, because you were the most sort of old people.
But that doesn't have
Anti-geriatric.
to. That doesn't have to mean 30 plus. You can be experienced at 27 or 28 as well. So
I think personally that there shouldn't be more than 2 or 3 30-plus-year-old players in the top 11.
I think that's too little. I mean, 30 plus.
Yeah, I was
It's
going
not
to
about
say the
30
same.
plus, but
Especially if you're trying to compete in Europe.
I think.
Remember, we're trying to compete in 3
Yeah,
tournaments.
I think you need one in.
I'm talking about in the top 11. You can have more as depth, but in the top 11, 2, 3. I'd say 3.
I feel like you can, in my opinion, you don't bring in a guy like that unless he's in your top 11.
Yeah.
I would
For
argue.
me, it's 3 or 4. I'd say you definitely need one in the defense. You at least need 1, maybe 2 in midfield, because I think midfield is probably
Yeah.
the most the midfield is the most important area because that wins you games, right? Like, and I think if you have 1 or 2 in midfield out of a 3-man midfield, and like that's why I'm saying like Saka, Anguissa, Orkun for me would be a good midfield because Anguissa is still young enough to be in his physical prime. Saka doesn't really rely too much.
What's the problem, Cameron? What Anguissa is 30 years old, right?
Yeah.
And he's from the Cameroon.
Yeah.
What if this guy's actually 35 and he burns out halfway through the season?
Okay. But let's assume for a second that his age is correct, right?
I mean, even at that, man, like you're running that. There's that chance that these players burn out, man. Like, look at Fabinho, man. He's from Brazil. The moment he thought people were saying, "Oh, this guy's dropped off. He's not what he used to be."
Yeah, but that's not a rule.
These things happen.
Yeah, these
That's not a rule,
things
but it
happen.
That's
But
anecdotal.
you also have Modric, who is still amazing at 38, 39. So I mean, there's players who fizzle out at 26, 27, right? Like,
I think you have 130 plus player in that midfield. You don't have to.
I think 2's fine, depending on who the players are. In defense,
I think you need a good core of veteran
you
players
do.
to be 100%
You
honest.
do. You need, but
I
again,
want 4.
We're getting stuck on age here on 30. For me, experience is not age
That's
necessarily.
true. I mean, Orkun's already a leader, and he's
yeah,
not
he's,
even
he's 20.
touching.
He just turned 25 in December, and he's an experienced player already.
Yeah.
So
He's already got that
I
captain's
think,
armband locked for as long as he wants to be
For
here.
me, it's. I don't have much of an issue with 3 to 4. I think once you go north of 4, 5, 6 is just too much. 5, maybe
For me,
maybe
5
is
5 would be the right guys. You know, it'd have to be the perfect
5 might be
kind
like
of.
a sweet spot, but more than 5 is definitely too much. I also think 2.
No,
I think
5's
2
too
to
much.
3 isn't enough. I think 2 to 3 you end up in a Beşiktaş 2013, 2014 situation where you're talented, but you can't get it across the finish line because you lack
You don't have enough
you lack maturity,
experience.
And
I think 4 should be the very max. I don't think you go near 5, man. Personally.
No, the only way I go for 5 is if that fifth guy is like, I mean, honestly, a Granit Xhaka or someone who has a really long career of proven health, where they're not missing games with any sort of regularity, and they're kind of, you know, consistently good. Like, you know, a guy who's been to a lot of places like that and has had success everywhere he's gone. For me, that's like, okay, he's versatile. You know, you can play. You know, that especially that versatility, because then that gives you that gives me I'm already forgetting his name. Who is the Chilean guy who we brought in and was the kind of Medel, right?
Yeah,
No.
Gary
Was it
Medel.
Medel?
Yeah, Medel, yeah. Sure,
Yeah, right. A Gary Medel, you know, a guy who can come in and just bring his veteran presence and just be, you know, like confidently play well in a few positions. You know, yeah, that for me is where you make that kind of exception. But I agree, like 4 is pushing it.
I think
For me, 4 is the sweet spot, rather.
yeah.
Let's look at Arsenal just now. Arsenal, good chance that they win the Premier League. See in their last game, they only had 2 players 30 and above. That's David Raya and Leandro Trossard. The rest of the players are under 30 on that team.
If we could spend
but
as much as
but
they have
spent
on like the talent they have
spent like $1
for
billion
guys under 25,
pounds
sure,
in like
man. Fuck.
5 years or something, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah, if we could bring in young talent that is going to just hit the ground running. Fuck,
I think what's
let's
really
do it.
important is when you sign a player and he's a little bit older, that it's a player who, like, for example, Grimaldo, yes, he's 30 plus, but he has like 50 plus games for like 8 straight seasons or something. Really,
that's what I'm
really
saying.
consistent numbers in goals and assists, consistent numbers in appearances. I think that's more important. And then the age is not that important. But if you bring in a player like, for example, Ndidi, who's had some injury issues in the last couple of years, right? Like, if you bring in a player approaching 30 who's had those types of injury issues, which, you know, for Ndidi, it's not like he had massive injury issues, but there were some, you know, there were some signs of deterioration, right? Like, I think those are the players you want to stay away from. And I think if you can bring in a guy like Grimaldo, who has like a really good consistency track record, I'm fine with that. Saka as well, you know, played 2 seasons for Bayer Leverkusen, helped them become champions unbeaten, was very instrumental in that. But also then I do wonder, why did Leverkusen move him on, right? Like, he went to Sunderland now, so, and he has still played 50 plus games, so it's like that's me not watching him consistently saying, okay, what's the thing there?
What I'll say though, Can, is I don't have an issue with any of these players in isolation, but see when you're bringing in Zambo, Xhaka, Grimaldo, Patrick Schick at the same time, all of a sudden you've made the team old again. I don't want
that's
that.
true. I mean, we already.
But who can we get rid of so that those guys can be accommodated? I think we can get rid of Ndidi.
I would not get Schick, for example. I would not do that. Like, we have Orkun Kökçü.
The rumor mill is saying that Sardar is desperate to sign.
But I don't agree with that. I don't understand why. Because I think we have a striker here who's done a lot with very little. and if you build a really strong team, like if you finally get those wingers, why? I mean, look, Patrick Schick, if you're going to spend 20 million on him, that's 20 million you could have spent on a really good winger. Like, get two really good wingers first before you go and try and sign Patrick Schick. Plus, signing Patrick Schick is pushing Oh Hyun-gyu aside, and that's a terrible move because
that's silly. I don't even think we should do that.
I think we shouldn't do that either. I think that would like.
But so my question though, guys, is how many guys do we have that are over 30 that bringing in those three it would be so upsetting to Cartel? Because like if Ndidi's gone.
Yeah, but he's not even.
Murillo's one.
So we've already got Murillo's over 30, and then you sign Grimaldo, that's 2. You sign Anguissa, that's 3.
Now we're at 5. Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
Sheik 5. Then who says they don't try and make him out for Trossard again? That could be 6.
Trossard is being.
Now you're right. You're right. Cartel, you're absolutely right. Once we pass 5, I'm already like you're already past.
But that's it, like, and see if we look at the names on like we look at the Twitter rumor mill. Almost all the names we're seeing are 30 or over.
Yeah.
It seems like we're falling down that dark path again.
Also, do you guys remember when Adala promised that we were not going to be doing exactly this? Like, I think in January.
But Adala and promised in the same sentence is guaranteed.
I know, yeah.
A lie. So let's not,
that's how you get burned.
Let's not
willfully.
Let's not get. But I mean, look, I also think a lot of these names we're hearing right now is just. We don't even
to basically get the steam, the smoke off the bowl.
Yeah, and we don't even know what's gonna happen because tomorrow Settle Adala and Sergen are gonna sit down and have a meeting, and the decision will be made tomorrow whether the club will continue with Sergen or not. So we don't even know who's gonna be the coach next season right now.
Yeah, I think this takes us into a good segue, guys. Do you think Sergen Yalçın should continue or do you think he should leave? I think that's what most people want to hear. I think from us. Yeah. And the biggest.
What do you think, Cartel? You're batting lead off. What do you think?
I say he has to go. I think Sardar has to go as well.
Yeah.
Ideally,
but he won't, though.
I agree.
But he won't.
Sergen Yalçın, look, for a brief period after we got the new signings in, it looked like things were changing for the better. But then we just went back to square one. And I feel like a lot of the new signings that came in looking shit hot, man, have dropped off. And I think when these players coming in, they're not looking as good as they did at the start, and the team is looking all better.
I still think they look good.
That tells you there's an issue with the coaching.
I just think it's the.
I think there's that. The coaching I don't think it's good, and the biggest problem with Sergen Yalçın is his statements are basically taking the piss out of the fans. So someone asked him, "Did you make all these signings 10-4?" He said, "Yeah."
Well, what do you expect him to say? That's kind of No.
And then he was also saying that we didn't have any goals this season. But see if you look at him when he first came, he said we need to at least compete.
No, we didn't.
Is that not a goal?
Yeah, of course. And clearly winning the cup was a major goal, and we should have. At least we should have at least reached the final. Like I said this during the preview for the Konya game. Like the deck is in our I think it's unfair that the semi-final gets decided in a one-legged affair because it's not fair for Konya. You know, we earned the advantage for the quarterfinals by winning our group, but in the semi-final, that's pure luck of the draw. That's unfair, and we still managed to lose, by the way. But the deck was set for us to go to the final. We had a clean route to the final, and we went out still. Now, it was very unfortunate, and we should have won that game. And it was an undeserved defeat, but you still lose. So, and at the end of the day, I think if we play with that type of intensity all season, I think we do better. I think we finish top 3. We played with the mentality and the intensity we played in the Konyaspor game, then we would have finished top 3 this season. But that alone isn't enough. You also need the quality, the creation, the play. And Sinan a couple of weeks ago said he doesn't see the plan in this. And I think that's the biggest issue. And I disagree with you at the time, Sinan. But you were spot on.
Yeah, I remember.
Because tactically, it's not that tactically Sergen doesn't have any idea, because there is a tactical plan there. But what's the plan? How do we create? That's a big issue.
I think the reality is Beşiktaş don't have a plan when they get the ball to the final.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And I don't. We have a plan before
Yeah.
that, and even at that, everything's wrong. All year we've been saying, look, we can't build out from the back through Ndidi, but he's not stopped trying to do that.
Well, here's the thing, though, too, right?
He's been stubborn and not changing from the mistakes he's been making.
Yeah.
Gökhan says that. How many games did it took Cameron Murillo coming in for? Gökhan says that who cost us how many games? Yeah. Indeed,
but also,
all season can't build up from the back. He's still. I believe I'm going to be honest with you guys. You guys know this anyway. I didn't watch the last two games because if the coach, the Beşiktaş's coach, are saying these games aren't important, why should I take it seriously? But I did have a driving lesson on Friday. But
they weren't important games. Like they meant nothing other than. Trying to end the season on a high note, and we couldn't even do that. I mean, and look, it's not like the Trabzon game. It's not even like Trabzon were all that interested in that match. They started. Onuachu was on the bench. They clearly prioritized the cup game, and rightfully so. And without even breaking a sweat, they beat us really because we were rubbish. I thought the second half against Riza was better, but again, it's just a...
I was going to say this. We had a right winger who was on pace to do perhaps even historic things with his assist numbers, and immediately that just got muted, deaded.
What do you mean?
And we were looking for all these... Czerny. He had 8. He was leading the league in assists in December. Remember, he had like 9 assists.
8.
But so my point is that we telegraphed. We were looking for all these miracles.
But what happened to Czerny?
Or all these explanations.
That's one of the few.
Well, this is my point. I'm getting there. My point is that our game plan was telegraphed. We have one winger. We have one wing from which we can create. So defending us became tactically the easiest fucking thing on planet Earth. Cut off that wing, prevent them from making runs there. Let's see what El Bilal does on the other side. He's not going to do shit. He never did shit. He made those runs centrally, and then he went injured. But when he was injured was when we went on a actually positive run when Aitan went out there. But that's the irony. So whenever we actually played with two wingers, we'd have this like shocking uptick and we'd be good, like in our cup matches where he'd play Jota randomly, or whenever he was forced into doing it, we performed. But like the game plan would still, like if you see Junior Olaitan on the other side, you're gonna like, okay, like they have one winger, we'll cut that wing off. It just turned out that Junior Olaitan was dynamic enough that he could create in that position, and it took that pressure. We were able to do slightly more than we had been with El Bilal. But it all comes down to inflexibility, and it all comes down to this, like, I think deep down, Sergen's identity, his identity as a coach, is he does these certain things in a certain way, and I think he was trying to recreate the spark of Kyle Larin, which, granted, was a master stroke when it occurred. Mm-hmm. But A, El Bilal today is not Kyle Larin. B, we do not have Rashid Ghazal. We have nobody who, they could put 3 guys on Rashid Ghazal. His cross is still landing on a fucking dime, Like, so you can't recreate that unless you get the right personnel. He didn't have that personnel, so he needed to do something else, and he just didn't want to.
Yeah.
That's what I felt.
I mean, just looking at the last game, and as I said, I didn't actually watch the game, but I did watch the highlights, and the interesting thing is, like, Sergen Yalçın all seasons tried to build out the back through Wilfred Ndidi. And we've said time and time again in this podcast, you can't do that. It doesn't work. If you look, well, they're 2-0 down at half-time in this game. Ndidi comes off at half-time. Mm-hmm. Junior Olaitan, Jota Silva and Vaclav Černý come on. Let's see. Mustafa comes off and Cengiz comes off. So I believe Bilal went up top and Olaitan went beside Orkun in his usual role. Asllani was a 6.
Yep.
And then it's no surprise when you change that build-up method and all of a sudden you're a lot more effective.
Mm-hmm.
You play with
you have 2 wingers.
You play with 2 wingers, Černý and Jota, who you wouldn't even look at his face. I think what happened to Jota Silva is one of the biggest disgraces in our history. Like, what player's been treated like that?
Yeah.
And he's been nothing but
Disgusting.
One of
Exactly.
the stories
Like-
we haven't talked about is that this guy has come in so sparingly, and yet every time he comes
He's
in,
ready.
maximum energy, maximum output, he's suddenly putting pressure on our opponent's goal. Like, it's been
Yeah.
marked. Like, this guy has been so professional. And
Yeah,
he was
man.
crying when he was coming off the pitch. It's like this man wanted to be a success in Istanbul. It's so obvious. He seems to have loved his time in Istanbul. And it's like, well, then why wasn't it a success? Well, I mean, I don't know. And you look at his per minute numbers, and they're probably the most efficient of any player in the Super League, because this dude played like 5 halves of football and scored like 5
he
goals.
has
So
less than 700 minutes played, 5 goals, and he won 1 penalty. So 6 goal contributions if you count the penalty one. So basically contributing
And
to a
actually,
goal every 100 minutes.
I actually want to. There's also one. See, in the first half of the season, I think it was the first Kojeri game. He scored a goal and there was like a deflection. Like, that doesn't count. I
yeah,
think that's
yeah.
quite harsh. So I actually think he's got. Was it shown that he's got 4 goals? I think he scored 5.
He scored 5.
Personally.
He scored 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he gets credit for 5.
Maybe
I think.
6 even.
But I mean, look.
See,
I think one is in the cup, because there's
on
cup
top
goal.
of it showing 4.
I think really. I think I checked it the other day and it showed 5. But
It's maybe it's league
but
versus cup. I think he has a cup
maybe.
goal.
But regardless, though, I mean, one of my biggest questions isn't necessarily the decision to play Al Bilal on the left. I don't really understand why Jota never got an opportunity on the right, because there's been this entire period where Černý was not good and Cengiz was not good, and granted, Jota wasn't good either when he came back from his injury, but after
He barely got a chance.
He did.
It was like one game or something to get cut after that.
yeah, and then we didn't see him for like 2 months, and then when we saw him again, he was sharp again, he was good again, and then he'd play, he'd do well, and then you wouldn't see him for 2 or 3 games. So I think to say this is the biggest disgrace in the history, that's maybe an overstatement, but it's definitely like in the last 20 years.
In terms of a coach treating an individual
It's-
player, I think it is.
Well, in the history,
But I don't
It's
think
definitely a big disgrace. I took that as journalistic, but
it is definitely.
In terms of
I
the treatment of a
prefer
coach
to
towards a specific
talk.
player, it's the
I
worst.
prefer to speak in
It's embarrassing.
terms of, let's call it the last 20 years or something, because I think when you say something like in history, it's
Obviously,
such an absolute.
yeah. I don't know about before 20 years ago
Yeah.
what would have happened, but
In
I think
modern
this is the worst
history,
approach.
I prefer that term, modern history. But I think it's up there with the mistreatment of Negredo and Lens, and who else did Channel Gunesh
worse.
mistreat? Because there's a long list. Boyko. Who else?
It's worse because
It might be worse.
this guy showed something for the most part when he played.
And that's the thing. Like, for example, with Lens, when he came in, he got basically the same treatment by Channel Gunesh, but then he dropped his head and he couldn't be fucked anymore, and he gained weight, and but Lens's attitude was clearly, well, you know what? I've secured the bag. I've got a 5-year contract here because you're a bunch of idiots. I'm just gonna sit on my fat ass and get rich. And Jota, totally different mentality. He kept giving 100% every single time. Even if he came on for just 3 minutes, he kept giving 100%. And a good shout in the chat there, I think, Thailand is also an honorable mention there, because I would even, I don't know if Jota or Thailand are worse. I think Thailand is the worst one, because Thailand, to me, that's a player you own. You paid 6 million euros for him. This is a 19-year-old kid. You are literally maliciously trying to inflict damage on a player that the club have heavily invested in. To me, that one is worse than Jota, because at least Jota isn't your player. But Jota, I think, is funny because he sabotaged himself. I don't understand the idea behind not playing him, because he was doing it despite his own nose. I genuinely believe if he had given Jota, like, let's say 1,000 more minutes this season, which is not unrealistic if you've only given him less than 700, I genuinely think this guy breaks 10 goals. I think this is a guy this is a potential 10 to 15 goal a season player. And it's a shame because now we're talking about El Bilal Touré maybe trying to bring him back. But if you look at all these loanees, the only player I'd consider bringing back is Jota, because I think he's the only one that can actually come in. If he came back this season, he's the only one I would think, okay, this one, he could be a starter and he could contribute. If El Bilal comes back, in my head, El Bilal is a backup. It's either your backup striker or your backup or a backup winger, whatever. He's not a starter for me. Like, if you start him, then you're just doing stupid stuff again. But Jota, you could start him on the right. If you bring in a really good left winger...
And frankly, I don't want anything to tempt Sergen from not playing a left winger. Please, get a freaking left winger.
Yeah.
No games, please.
But so, I mean, back to the topic at hand, Sergen, stay or go. Sinan, what do you think? Because I think... Well, actually... Maybe a conclusion from you, Cartel. Did you conclude already? Because I feel like we've been talking about this.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I think they both need to go. I mean,
yeah, he said they both got to go.
Right.
I mean,
I concur.
Van Bronckhorst only got 12 league games or 13 league games. They had a 50% win rate, and he had one of the best starts in modern history.
Yeah. But also
the team went to shit after all this stuff went down.
But the team was also in a free fall when he got fired, though. I mean,
Of course, that's why it was 50% when you left. Because we went into free fall, because we had one of the best starts in modern history in the last 20 or so years. It was like the second best start or something like that.
We won 4 and drew 1 or something, right? Like the Gaziantep game.
No, I think we won 6 out of the first 7 games.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah. It was like 6 wins in a draw.
And then we drew against Gaziantep, and you wouldn't shut up about it for about a year.
Yeah, I remember that.
5 out of 6.
Yeah, it might have been something like that.
Maybe it was 5.
You got him fired, Carter.
I was the one that was the most against him getting fired. I defended him the rest of that season. Even though
I don't think any of us were like gung ho about the firing. I mean, I think most of us.
I was, and I stand by that to this day, because I think once a coach,
the ship had sunk.
Once a coach radiates this feeling of, well, I have no solutions, then it's pointless to continue, because that's like Arne Slot now with Liverpool, right? Like, there's no point to keep going. The ship has sunk, like you said. So it's like you can continue and you can see out the season, but it's at least if you change coaches, then you might have a chance to, get something.
But the thing is, none of that was his fault. It was the players weren't getting paid. There was infighting in the boat.
That is definitely a wild card bit of information.
But if you're in
there.
a situation through no fault of your own, let's say you're at your job and like stuff is going bad at your job, but through no fault of your own, you lose all motivation. Are you really gonna be able to get back out of that?
Get it back together.
Get everything back together, even though it's not your fault. I think no. Maybe you could, but in football,
it's hard, man.
Football, it's really difficult because it's not just you that needs to get out of that slump. It's also the entire squad. So I don't know. It's a tough one.
I think. Honestly, I think out of the recent coaches we've had, he was probably had the most potential, man. I still think that. But anyway, he only get 13 or 14 league games. Ollie got, I think, 20. Yeah. And Sergen's had 33. Mm-hmm. Sergen's performed worse in the league games than both of these guys, but yet we're talking about giving him more time. How come these guys didn't get more time?
I don't know. Sinan, your take. Obviously, you agree.
That's why he should go. He's been less successful than the last 2 guys that were here before him that get sacked. Mm-hmm. He should go.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Yeah.
I very much worry about Adale being given the ability to replace Sergen if Sergen is fired. I really fear the return of Sheno, who is too old to do this. So that's definitely a huge fear of mine as far as letting Sergen go. But with that said, I don't think you should ever not act out of fear if you see the need to act. And I think everything Cartel said is correct for the most part. So, yeah, I mean, I don't... if it's true that you had guys who were like, if this guy is our coach, I'm not coming back. You know, in the case of supposedly Czerny, and I don't remember who else.
He
but
can fuck off
like
too,
that's
so it doesn't. I mean,
sure, but you know, you don't want to lose because it's not like one guy is like in an isolation chamber on his own, right? If one person has that sentiment, he's probably hanging out with all the other foreign guys every night. And very likely that's an idea that's permeating at least among a few other guys, you know.
it's paper talk.
So
though. I don't know.
yeah,
about
I don't know.
that.
It's yeah, and that's rumor mill gossip stuff. I don't necessarily want to put my opinion on that, but I don't think there's no reason he should have won over this locker room, given the obvious things we've already called out as far as guys not playing who should be playing and who should feel disheartened by the fact that they weren't able to.
There's a single player out there that was playing for him in the end, except for Orkun. Orkun somehow against Rize.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know. Like everyone else, the entire team seemed disinterested, and Orkun was out there bawling like crazy. Like he created like 8 chances or something, like something insane. And you know,
Czerny and Jota came out like gangbusters too, and I wonder what, like, if they were like, let's show this fucker what we could have done, or you know, I don't know what.
I don't agree
what
that
they did.
Czerny came out playing that great, man. Like he scored a banger and.
He got good grades on my on my
Jota,
thing. I mean, I was surprised, to be honest. He didn't really put a foot wrong. He was fighting for balls. He was kind of connecting
I feel like
play.
that's the thing with Czerny very often. Like he doesn't do necessarily all the stuff wrong, but like you just expect a lot more from him. He needs to do more. And
he's been like circling the drain with my rating system lately, and yesterday was a big spike. So I mean, there was something to it. There was something to it. And I wouldn't be surprised if he and Jota both looked at each other and said, you know what, like, let's fucking show this guy what could have been.
I think Jota,
especially Jota,
does
you know, I think Jota went out there
like
like
it every time, and it's almost like Sergen resents him for it because like he just keeps punishing him. But obviously that's over now. But I agree, guys. Like, I mean, look, I think we've all been on the Sergen out train for months, right? Like. I mean, I'm still very upset about the fact that Ole got fired. I still think that was a very bad decision.
Yeah.
I think it never should have happened in the first place.
It killed our season. I think it killed our season, to be honest.
I think that's the main reason why this has been such disappointing seasons, because when we did it, had we done it at the end of last season and appointed Sergen then, different story. But when the timing of it was horrendous. It was horrendous. And I want to address Nasser's comment there about his hate glasses. I'm critical of Sergen too. There's a difference though. I feel like this was about the Konya game. You said we played shit against Konya, and I think that's not true. That was one of our best games in months. We played with incredible intensity, incredible effort, and if you're gonna say we played shit in that game, then you're not being neutral. Then you have hate glasses on because you don't like Sergen. I like Sergen as a player. He's my favorite player of all time. I like him as a character. I think he's funny. I liked him as a coach the first time around. I'm not liking him as a coach now. I don't like a lot of things he does, but it doesn't mean that everything he does is shit. I think against Konya, the game plan was correct. We played very well. We were just unlucky. We didn't have the quality. All the other games before and after that, though, well, not all, but like the games leading up to that game were pretty bad. The Alanya game was terrible in the cup. I said that at the time. Didn't think we played well against Alanya. I expected us to come out the same way we came out against Konya, with a lot of intensity and a lot of desire. I didn't see that against Alanya in the cup, which is really weird to me when you've for weeks been proclaiming that the cup is your main focus. And then, of course, obviously after the cup game, all those games were terrible too. So it's like, you need to call it how you see it. But if you're gonna say, okay, Konya was bad, then okay, no, that's just not true. It's not because you lose that you were terrible. We weren't shit. We weren't terrible. We weren't good enough.
I have to rewatch.
But we had, first half was really good. First 15 or 20 minutes of the second half weren't good. But after that, we took over again and we were good, and we didn't deserve to lose that game. It doesn't mean that I want Sergen.
I've got to rewatch that one.
I think Sergen should go, and the main reason for that is because I think he's going to leave us anyway. So if he stays now, if the decision is made that he stays, and if we start the season off poorly, he's bouncing, right? I think he's already made the decision in his head that he wants to go, because once the fans start chanting for his resignation, he's very prideful. He takes that personally. I think you're gonna run into a similar situation again where he mentally checked out and he wants to go, and you should just allow him to go. We shouldn't repeat history. Last time around, it wasn't necessarily because of fans or anything. It was, he felt disrespected by the board. I also think he was burned out after a very intense title race. And I think he just wanted a break at the time. And that was a mistake to force him to stay. Well, force him to, co-opt him into staying. And I think we shouldn't make that mistake a second time. Also, my main concern is when he goes, if he goes, you're leaving it once again up to Mr. Serdal Adalet to decide who his successor will be. And I agree with you guys, he should go too, but he's not going to. That's not realistic. It's not happening. So Sergen is probably out, but who's gonna be next, right? And one of the main names circulating is Şenol Güneş. Of course, because we don't do creativity in Turkey. We always keep going back to what worked last. And Ertan
Düzgün said that he says it's unlikely though.
Yeah.
So that could be a positive.
Ertan Düzgün says it's unlikely, but there's a lot of other people who are saying it's likely. Now, I'm gonna be controversial here, and I think you guys are not gonna expect this, but I'm not even that against it.
I know what you're gonna say.
I'm not even that against it, because I genuinely believe if you give this guy a proper squad, he's probably gonna do a decent job. Is he gonna win you the championship at 74 years old? I don't think so. But he's gonna do.
Con, you know why you might not be wrong? All of his favorites, who he would have played irrationally, have all retired now. So he might not have any.
He can't bring Volkan Şen back. So
there's no merit. There's no merit that he needs to stick in.
The major concern I have, if it's Şenol Güneş, who is he gonna bring in as a goalkeeper? Because we all know Şenol Güneş does not want a foreign goalkeeper. So then Mr. Triple John's prediction there of Altay to Beşiktaş could become reality, and I would live it.
No.
So if Şenol Güneş comes back and becomes the coach, and he's like, I want Berke and nobody else, no problem. But if he comes back and he brings Altay, I'm gonna flip.
It's like Tolga Zengin 2.0, dude. Literally.
Yeah. I'm gonna let Katel have a say because he lost Şenol Güneş, but he's not in favor of it, and he is right now the major name out there. And so what do you think, Katel? You even talked about the boycott, but I think you're just being a little bit of a fanny there.
Perhaps. See, I'm not going to talk big. Personally, I don't want Şenol Güneş to come back. I love him.
For the record, I don't want it either. I'm just saying I would not lose my mind if it happened because it's Serdal Adalet.
At this point, I wouldn't lose my mind. The only reason I wouldn't lose my mind at this point is just because we've had so many uninspiring decisions made in a row that it's like, what the fuck else are you going to do? Of course you're going to hire this asshole. I do
genuinely believe that if you give him a good team, then he's going to get an O. I think he's going to do okay. The last time he was coach, he relied very heavily on individual quality, on Abubakar's wonder goals. But also, if you looked what he had available to him in terms of player material, that wasn't a great team, was it? And I do think with the spine that we have right now, if you do spend big this summer and you bring in good players, you're gonna build a good team. And I do believe that Şenol Güneş can make that work. But
I mean, his Trabzon stint was very poor as well, but I suppose they didn't have a good team. Look, Şenol Güneş for me, best coach I've seen at Beşiktaş. My best memories with Beşiktaş are from his stint. You guys are a bit older than me. You guys have got some maybe moment. Obviously,
definitely the best one.
I do have memories of Lucescu being coach, but I was too young to deeply understand.
Walking around in diapers.
I wasn't in diapers. I was 6 when he left. I wasn't that young, I was in like my second year of primary school, but or or just going into my second year.
Doesn't
probably
mean
just
you weren't
finished
in
the first.
diapers anymore.
You weren't one of those. You weren't one of those kids that stayed in diapers a little too long.
Nah, I can assure you I wasn't. I can assure you I wasn't.
Still getting breastfed at 6.
No, but obviously
Like that guy from Game of Thrones, you know, fucking.
I wasn't old enough to like really deeply understand that, and obviously back in those days there was no way I was watching the games unless it was in Europe. I mean, I had like a DVD of the 100th year, which was brilliant, but like the first great run that, like for me, the first proper great period of Beşiktaş that I was deeply able to take in, because I don't think the 08-09 was that.
No, it wasn't. No.
The 2014 to 2018 period, like starting with like Bilic, with Şenol Güneş as well. That was the best period for us, and with the trophies came with Şenol Güneş, and honestly, my happiest moments as a Beşiktaş fan, like most of them, have his signature under it, alongside obviously the great players we had, and Fikret Orban's good job as president as well. So really, he's a very special man for me. But the reality is he's 74 years old now. He came back last time, done in terms of points per game, done a really good job in the second half.
Which is misleading.
22-23 season.
Yeah.
Which you can't see. I mean, we won 2 derbies. We beat Fenerbahçe and Galatasaray, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
Galatasaray we beat pretty convincingly actually, but at the same time, like in most of those games, it did feel like it was a lot of individual performances. And then that summer, he was there when we had the worst summer ever, and he seemingly okayed a lot of these terrible transfers that put us into the absolute. Was the start. You can't really say the start because we had 21-22 was a disaster, and then 22-23. When you look at our points average, it was quite a good season really. When you look at the points average, but then all the years since 22-23 has been a complete disaster really for us as Beşiktaş.
The transfers definitely laid the groundwork.
The transfers that happened, the transfers of that summer really fucked everything
worst
up.
Transfer season.
I don't know if I can. It's the worst ever. Yeah. Exactly. Like I don't know if I can trust a guy who's now 74 years old and is probably could be starting to lose some of his mental capacity. You don't know.
Yeah. Do you think he has his finger on the thumb of like where, you know, what's the best up and coming prospects in the?
I don't think.
Like
you're such an ageist, Kartal. Like 30-year-old players are all turning to shit, and if you're 74, your mind's going.
I mean, Lucescu done a great job until the guy was 80, but not everyone's Lucescu, you know. He had, like as we said, Şenol Güneş was there when we had the worst window in our history. That's really been the start of having 3 really shit seasons in a row. Apart from obviously the cup win and stuff like that, and apart from the Super Cup and that, and some good European performances and some good derby performances under Ollie, but it's been shit since then. So I don't know. I don't want this guy to come back. The only way that you could maybe make me somewhat okay with it is if he's not touching the transfers. He's just saying I need these profiles, and then someone like a Graf finds the players and gets the transfers done, or a Sergen OUT perhaps.
But we all know. We also all know how Şenol Güneş loves to work with the sporting director, right? Like he loves that.
He doesn't like it. Yeah, he doesn't. That's the issue.
Yeah.
So I don't. I mean, I think you'd like to think if we build a really good squad, they should do okay. But no, I'd rather. For me, it's like a good foreign coach, or Nuri or Ilhan just now. Ilhan would probably be my first choice out of the Turks.
Yeah.
Then Nuri, or a foreign coach. That would be my choice. Yeah. But if you want my honest opinion, I actually don't think Sergen's going to go. I think we're going to start next season with Sergen Yalçın, which I really don't want, but I think that's going to happen.
Okay, Sinan, last time Şenol Güneş came back, you decided to go on a sabbatical for a bit there. You're not.
That's right.
You're not gonna do that again.
I'm not on that. I'm not that. No. Because I'm just sort of generally. This club has slowly disenfranchised me for so many seasons now that I don't even think I can be as bothered as I used to be. I almost expect the worst at this point, honestly. I would be surprised if we don't hire Şenol Güneş if we fire Sergen. And like Kartal said, I have a feeling we're not even going to... This guy doesn't have the balls to let go of Sergen, given that he's already staked basically his reputation with this club on Sergen thus far. You know, I don't think... I think it would be foolish to bring back Şenol. The game, Şenol Güneş is not unique in this. Some of the great coaches of football history have seen the game move on past them in these last 5 to 10 years. And I mean that with so much respect. Some of the people I respected the most as guys who could guarantee success no matter where they go, we've seen them sputter out in this modern world where things are not as cut and dry, right? Like you've got big club spending, but you can't even necessarily buy success. You're seeing some coaches innovate and some clubs kind of like make incredible financial decisions that are good for the club, and they're developing talent, and you know they've just got everything operating in full cylinders.
I have against that though, Zidane, I think that's very true when it comes to like the top level football in Europe, but I think when it comes to Turkey, I don't think that's necessarily true, because the majority of Turkish clubs aren't coached by exactly the most
we're all sort of set back. No, but
so
look at like a Göztepe though, or even a Samsun. Yeah. You know, I feel like we're starting to see, you know, if those clubs can build on their success and stack success, you know, start going to Europe and getting European money in consecutive seasons, I would not be surprised if they end up having spells of success in a way that we wouldn't be imagine possible. Because yes, you're right. Like many of the big clubs are operating like cavemen, essentially, like dinosaurs, and our club is we'd love to be the trendsetters as far as we're not the same as those, you know, behemoths over there. But you know, the other side of Istanbul, other sides.
That Okan Buruk is gonna do anything to out tactic Şenol Güneş, for example.
Anyone,
right?
Yeah.
Like
anyone.
That's not his strong suit, right? And I think still very much in Turkey, you know,
it's all roster driven. It's all talent based. It's all roster
driven.
Fatih
is clearly a good manager. It's not like he's a master tactician either, right? Like he's doing a fantastic.
He's not
job.
he doesn't have his guys shifting lines and
he's doing a fantastic job. Don't get me wrong. I take him at Beşiktaş too, for sure. But like it's not like there's a tactical genius there, or there's who's going to be Fenerbahçe's coach this coming season. And it doesn't even matter who Fenerbahçe's coach is going to be, because they're going to crumble under the pressure most likely anyway, as they do every season. So, like, yeah, I mean, I'm not that concerned about that necessarily. My main concern with Şenol Güneş is just that he has similar tendencies to Sergen, where, you know, I do think if you're going to make certain transfers and he's like, oh, I didn't really want that player. Like, that happened with Negredo and Lens, right? He wanted Volkan Şen and he wanted Burak Yilmaz, and he made that very clear by not treating those guys very well. And he didn't want the.
Well, and to be clear, sorry, Khan, I don't mean to cut you off, but I don't know that we're necessarily in disagreement, because all I'm suggesting is that there is a world where we could actually do things the right way. You know, we could actually build things out properly and have a project in mind, right? Like Fikret Orman was on the cusp of something, right? The whole Japan thing. He was doing things on the back end with business. He was generating funds in novel ways. We had properties suddenly in the equation. Like there is a world where you have a guy with the right mentality, enough money, and enough kind of social currency or whatever the fuck it is you need to get to not have people trying to bum rush you on stage at our Congress. And, you know, like, just a little success can lead to a modicum of stability. The stability then can lead to, like, the capacity for us to build out projects at a scale that would actually land us the ability to build long-term on the pitch in the way, right? Imagine a club with our capacities financially, with our fan base, running ourselves the way Göztepe is. And I don't mean by bringing in foreign assholes to take over the club and gut it every year, you know, to the benefit of whoever, just like Strasbourg or whatever.
The fats, run the club lean but well. And
scouts. Well, let's get some good scouts in. Let's always have like an eye on like half of our players should come in with the idea that we're developing them to make money or to become long-term fixtures in the lineup. Half of them are coming in to give us results now, so that we're always competitive, right? Like you balance it out. It shouldn't be so farcical that we could do things the right way. And so that's all I'm saying. It's not. You're absolutely right. Şenol Güneş could come in and be just as good as Ismail Kartal and Okan Buruk and Fatih Tekke, or whoever the fuck else is going to be competitive next year. And it won't matter that the game has necessarily passed him by, because it's passed our country by at this point. And
for sure.
we're even on the larger scale, we're floating by on individual talent that is exceeding the nation's capacity to like build out around them. And we're, like Arda Güler and Kenan Yıldız, we're going to have an interesting show this summer, which will probably lead to some form of disappointment based on exactly that fact. Because no matter how bright some individual talents will shine, you're always going to have Abdülkerim Bardakçı on the back line. You're always going to, there's always going to be, and that's not even like, you're going to have Samet Akaydın on the back line. There's always going to be some piece of just absolute trash holding the whole thing back. And I don't mean to call Bardakçı absolute trash. Akaydın I do. But like we're not holistically, like, when we have a good striker, we don't have a goalkeeper. When we have like 5 good goalkeepers, we don't have a striker. Like, there's not a plan in place at any level of Turkish football. And so it shouldn't surprise anyone that there isn't one in place with our club, and that there isn't one in place with Sergen's game plan. And I think it's a shame. In Beşiktaş, of all clubs, what we love so much about it is that it's not hard for us to imagine that this fan base would accept change, would accept paltry results for the short term if we were given a real project to sink our teeth into, something to like hope for and to monitor and to keep tabs on as far as the progress, and to see, right? Like, even the second half of the last year, the team rose up the tables. We were starting to like, we saw a guy come in and be like, let's see what this guy is. Like let's evaluate everyone on equal plane and shed everything that's excessive once we have a sense of that. And he seemed to do a pretty good job. We got rid of like 28 guys. And then game 1 of the season, after game 1, and we're done. Like, I mean, it almost feels obvious, right? Like, we can be run better. We should be run better. And we have a fan base that would support it. We are lucky in that sense, because we do still have a great fan base, despite some of the chicanery or whatever in the stands. Like, we really do have a good fan base that can embrace everything it needs to embrace for us to build the right way. And instead, right, and that's, I think, Hasan Arat should be proof of that. For all his failures, and I'm not saying he didn't fail, the fan base was excited when he came, because it was like, holy shit, here's a fresh face saying the right things. And he did, right? And like, we could have, like, even if he'd stumbled but explained why he'd stumbled, we would have been okay. But like, it went right back to the same secret bullshit in the back rooms, and like nobody knowing what the fuck is going on, and people changing roles, and like,
yeah, we were promised.
That's my rant to end this episode for myself. We were
promised transparency, and we got the opposite, right? And yeah, I mean, I for one don't think Sergen will continue. I think the decision tomorrow will be that he steps down. I think the decision will come from him rather than Adale. The rumors right now are that the club wants him to continue. But for me, I think Adale is not gonna try and convince him, because Adale is a windmill, and he is for sure aware of the intense pressure from the fan base. I think it was after the cup exit. I would say that maybe it was like 40% of the fan base, maybe 50% of the fan base wanted him gone. I genuinely think that after these 2 games against Trabzon and Rize, that has increased to at least 60%. I think the majority of the fans right now want Sergen out, and I think Adale is somebody who, listens to the fans to his own detriment. Not that this would be to his own detriment.
He should put out a Twitter poll, because we know that's what it's really going to come down to.
Exactly. And the thing is, like, I think he made a really bad decision in following the fans when it came to Ole, because that was a wrong decision at the time. But I think now...
And that's what he did do, for anyone who forgot.
I think it's the right decision. But the right decision actually would be for him to step down as well.
Yeah.
But he's not gonna do that because that's just not, that's just not in the cards. It's just not how he operates. But yeah, I think I don't think people will. I do believe tomorrow the conclusion will be Beşiktaş are going to move on to a different coach. The question then becomes is who is it gonna be? If Ertan Suzgun says probably not Şenol Güneş, like I said,
maybe that means it definitely is.
I'm not advocating for Şenol Güneş. My mindset is just like I was really against it last time, but then I kind of talked myself into it, and I guess I'm back in that talk myself into it situation where I'm like, yeah, I guess if you give him a good squad, he'll do okay, and it's probably gonna be better than what Sergen did. So I'm basically settling for, better than now, which isn't putting the bar very high. In an ideal world, if it has to be a Turkish coach, I would go for İlhan Palut. That's my number one pick in Turkey. Because I think for example, Arda Turan is not realistic because he's successful at Shakhtar. Also,
you get a big job.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, at the end of the day, he's still a Galatasaray guy, so And I think İlhan Palut deserves that opportunity. He's proven himself time and time again at different clubs now. He's a real Beşiktaş fan, true and true, and he's the only one right now in the landscape that for me ticks enough boxes to get the opportunity. But if I were to really let my fantasy run wild, I would definitely go for a foreign coach. And which one? I'd have to have a think about
Glasner?
it. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a realistic one, but yeah, maybe.
No, probably not.
Probably a German. I like German coaches. But
I'm partial to Germans.
we'll
too.
see. Right.
Yeah. All right. My turn. I'll do this. I can play this game. I'm with you, both of you, in that I think İlhan Palut is the best Turkish candidate. My second place would be Nuri Şahin, and it would be Arda Turan, but like you said, he wouldn't come. He's a Galatasaray guy, and I think what's worse about the fact that he's a Galatasaray guy is that that we would come knocking and he would actually reject us and then make a big show about how he rejected us. And he would take the job in any circumstance.
I don't know because he's.
Or maybe not. Maybe he's because it wouldn't be smart career-wise.
He's also he's always been very respectful of Beşiktaş, so I don't think he would do that.
Okay,
So,
that would be nice.
Yeah.
And in that case, well, either way, I do think it's probably not realistic. So yeah, for me, that's Nuri Şahin stepping in as my backup to İlhan Palut. But ideally, I think we would also get a foreign coach. I didn't really even care about this as a concept until Khan did that. We did our Kartal, you weren't here, but we did a farewell to Lucescu episode in which both of us got a little emotional, remembering our youth / Beşiktaş's better days. But the romance around Lucescu's career and how inextricably linked it was to Beşiktaş, where his last match was coached in our stadium before in fact he fell ill in our stadium, I think. There's just such a story there that for his son to be able to come, I feel like his son probably grew up in Istanbul, unfortunately not just because of Beşiktaş. But,
no. His son is 50. He's 55 or 57 already, Sinan. So he was in his late 30s already.
He was already in his 20s already by then. All right, fair. But either way,
playing at the time.
He would have had enough of a.
I think he was a goalkeeper for Rapid Bucharest at the time or something.
For me 30 years feels like 4 years. And I always assume I'm gonna underestimate. I always now I intentionally overdo it, and so it's you know what I mean. I thought, it was so long ago. Lucescu was probably a kid, but either way, I mean, even as a grown man, he would have come and visited his father, and he would have heard a lot about the club, and he would have been given enough of the info to, I think, come to his own conclusions that that's kind of a fun option, perhaps. I don't, that for me would be a dream. Also, maybe not especially realistic, given I think he's probably doing well enough and content where he is. But
yeah, I think he's very happy. He has PAOK, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're
And
clicking.
he's a
Yeah,
legend
culture,
there,
yeah.
right? Like he's won 2 championships.
Yeah.
2 out of the 4 championships in their
Exactly.
history is under his tutelage. So, you know, he'd be very dumb to leave that very cushy job
Yeah.
for a second time, because he did went to Saudi Arabia for, you know, to cash in. I think he'd be very dumb to
Yeah.
leave that very cushy job for a very turmoilic club like ours. There's no stability. So that's
yeah.
also why I think us getting a good foreign coach is very unlikely, just because
It's not very realistic.
it's they all saw what happened with Ole. They all saw what happened with Giovanni van Bronckhorst. So like
What's
anyone
worse?
with
What's
options-
worse is exactly that.
Yeah.
Any foreigner will probably give those guys a call and be like, "Hey, what the fuck happened with that little stint you did?" And they're not going to be like, "You should definitely take that job. It's a great." No, they're going to be like, I mean, Ole would maybe. I actually think Ole, given his exit interviews and everything he said, he might actually be like, you know what, like, my stint was really chaotic, but I bet they're, he could actually give them like a sober analysis, but Joe is probably like, man, you should not touch that fucking club with a 10 pole.
I think, to be honest, I don't think Ole would have going much to say either. It's just that he's a gent and he's a professional.
Yeah,
He's not going to badmouth the club in front of the media.
yeah.
I think behind closed doors he probably would be pretty honest.
Yeah, I think so too. I was, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be, you're right.
You
You're
just need
probably right.
to offer a good enough bag, man. That's it.
Yeah.
And be like, whatever you do, don't call Ole. Trust me, you don't want to hear what they have to
That's the only
say.
thing, right? Like the only way to bring in a half decent foreign manager right now is to overpay, probably, and really,
for sure.
realistically use.
Which means what? We need Hussein Yücel.
Unless of course.
Yücel.
I mean, that's also one of those things. Like, if you can say, okay, we have agreements with this, and, like, if you can say, okay, we have an agreement with Grimaldo, we have an agreement with Saka, we have an agreement with this guy. If you approve of them,
You wanna come coach them?
Yeah, if you approve of them, we'll bring him in. But also, like, I don't want this search for a coach thing to take long. Honestly, they should already have a short list of people they've already sent feelers out to and who have already said yes.
It's going to take longer.
It's probably going to take weeks. And we don't have weeks because we need to make transfers, because in July we get to play football again.
We have
and
qualifiers. That's
exactly.
right.
And depending on, who wins the Turkish Cup, it's going to be either Europa League or Conference League, and Europa League is going to give us one free do-over. But if we go to the Conference League, we can't afford a misstep, and we need to have a goddamn half-decent squad available for those qualifiers, because, we saw it last season. This season, you can go out against a team like Lausanne if you don't have your affairs in order.
You let yourself.
Yeah, and that's it.
Absolutely.
And that's, with all the respect for Lausanne, that's a team we should never be going out to, but we did, because we didn't.
Football's not the same anymore, man. There's nothing is ever a guarantee in football.
No, of course.
I mean, Galatasaray beat freaking Liverpool, right? Like, and then got whooped, but that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Guys, I have to run, so I don't know if you guys are wrapping up yet, but
we are wrapping up. I am just waiting for this Fenerbahçe and Eyüp game to finish, so I can give the final standings in the league this season.
Ooh, there we go.
But right now, for some reason, Fenerbahçe decided to spare Eyüp, and it's 3-3. And
oh, I see. No, full time 3-3.
Full time 3-3. All right. Well, you know what? I'll just read the final standings. I'm not going to go through the entire standings. I would bring them up, but that's going to take me another minute then. So basically, I'm just going to call out the final standings in the bottom of the table then, with that final result.
Oh, Antalya down.
Kayseri and Karagümrük going down, and Eyüp, Gençlerbirliği, and Kasım Paşa avoid relegation. The top 4, we already knew the top 4, but just outside the top 4, Başakşehir managed to finish in 5th, which means if Trabzonspor win the Turkish Cup, Başakşehir will head into Europe instead of Göztepe, which is a
we were just talking about that.
Anyway, I think that'll do it for this episode of the Black Eagles podcast. Thank you all for joining us for, again, a painful season. Let's hope that next season will be better. Let us know in the comments your top 5 of favorite Adidas jerseys of the past 17 years. And also let us know where you are in should Sergen stay, should Sergen go? How do you feel about Şenol Güneş? And who do you want to bring in as a coach in an ideal situation? Keep it realistic. No Carlo Ancelotti or something like that, but realistically, of the people we have available in the landscape right now, who's your favorite picks? Go check out patreon.com/Beşiktaş podcast. Go join us on YouTube. Hit the join button. Like, comment, subscribe. And of course, keep an eye on all our social channels, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever. We are going to be back real soon, probably, to talk about the whole coaching situation, depending on the decision tomorrow. There'll be plenty of transfer stuff to talk about in the coming weeks and months. And before you know it, we're back with that first match preview for the Europa or Conference League in July. So plenty to come. But depending on how the news evolves in the next couple of days or in the next couple of weeks, we might go on a very small little break or hiatus. But if there's something to talk about, we'll definitely be here. So keep an eye on.
We'll be here.
Yeah. So keep an eye on the socials, and we'll announce it. Sinan, feel free to take us out, man.
Follow us on all of our social media. Check out, of course, down here. I can't see the screen right now, so I can't do the shout outs, by the way, Kyle, because I don't see the screen. But yeah, check out the QR code or wherever that is.
I will share that screen.
Follow. We're gonna be continuing the conversation in the group chat there in that QR code, so you should definitely check it out. It's always fun to talk Beşiktaş, and the summer will be no exception with all the imminent changes that are coming. Tons and tons and tons, right? Maybe a new manager, certainly lots of new players. And so we will be here to
sharing the screen
analyze all of it. I will be
read out the names.
Nice. Yeah, I see it. Yeah. And I will be back with the Schwarting report, of course, to start talking about. I'll do my preseason power rankings, all of it. So yeah, stay with us. Obviously not the season we hoped for, but all the same,
and probably obviously
I say.
Player of the season Orkun Kökçü. Who else would it be, right?
Yeah, shocker there. Yeah. But even though things are a little bit dire, it's still important for us all occasionally to say, "Let's go Beşiktaş!" Peace out, everybody. Shout to Özkan, no comment, Zerzavachi, Nate Dogg, Nathan David, Finish, not the Swedish Kebab, Tristan Berkey Craig, Michael Berry, Umer, Mr. Positive Gunnar, Tayfur, Yaylagu, Sarpen Uzdemir, Efes Demir, Uzcan the Twin Oğuz, Atilcan, the Pope of Chicago, Malak, Murder, Merter, Mert, Oğuz, Özgürlük, Eray Gondar, Serkan Üzen, Ali J, Turkish Delight 28, Blacko 54, the Benefactor, Dara the Irishman Hempsey, Mario 1 and a 2 and a 3 Vargas, Onur Sece, Niall Thurig, Sebastian the Not Sporting Director Heinat, Omata K28, Daredevil, watch that show, great show, the Vigilante Turk, Nasty Naz Nasser, and of course, the indefatigable, indomitable, the indubitable, Lufinossier himself, the Dutch Eagle. Peace out, everybody. Peace out, 2025-26 season. Bam, bam.